orange and blue sunset and mile high here in Broncos country. Let's get ready to ride. Russ and the rest are gonna light up the sky. We'll break it down after the game with the guys. Hometown heroes with their own sports bar. The best coverage in Denver, don't go too far. Just turn on DNVR. We are DNVR.
DNVR Broncos live throwback edition. RK and Zach. Henry, we said this one's for the adults. This is the adults table.
So
show.
we said go have a baby day. If we have old days,
Old
he has
days,
baby
yeah,
days.
baby days. Henry making the diehard Buffs fan that he is.
Yeah.
Making the trek to Minnesota to watch the Buffs take on the Golden Gophers. Nothing notable about the spread or anything like that I feel like the need to bring up here.
Is it still under 28?
It is actually
Still under. Okay.
Someone told me
no.
28. The last I heard, so maybe it is back to 28. But it was
okay.
all the way down to 27 at one point
Yeah,
yesterday.
that's what I heard earlier today.
I'll look into it in a sec. But anyways, we are brought to you. There it is at 28 exactly.
Yeah, where'd you look up the spread?
DraftKings
There we
Sportsbook.
go.
We're brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Buffs plus 1,800 on the money line. I'm seeing some value there. And if you wanted to, you could bet $5 on that. If you win, that's what?
90?
Yeah, no, it's got to be more than that, right?
Well, only $5 though. Get you 90. That's
Okay.
a pretty good return.
That is a really good return. So you could do that. And then even if you lost, you'd still get $200 in free bets, which you could use for other smarter bets than Buffs money line to try and make back your money and then some. Get over to DraftKings Sportsbook and do that today. Okay. Interesting day here today because we have our Broncos picks to make. We have a lit Thursday night football
Oh,
game.
baby.
And you know what the best thing about today is, Zach?
What's that?
One of the Chiefs or Chargers is going to lose.
Ah, that is fantastic. Don't look at the other side. Just glass half full.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of weekends this year where both of them win.
That's true.
Just like last weekend.
That's true.
So this one, guaranteed loss.
Or a tie would also kind of be great.
Oh,
Because it'd be like, wow, there's not a dominant player here. Well, no, but then neither of them would have a loss.
Yeah, but then each of them only get a half win.
That's true. That's true. I think you are cheering for the tie.
Wow.
Because ties
Great
are just
take.
like when the Colts and Texans tied last week, it's like, man, that sucks for both of them.
I know. I think there should be something to settle ties.
Oh, absolutely. The NFL should never go into a tie.
I think what happened. I've had this idea. It's kind of half baked, but how about this?
Let's fully bake it.
Flip a coin.
Oh boy.
The winner of the coin toss
Okay.
gets to set a number, and the other team. So they say 58.
Okay.
The other team gets to decide: do they want their field goal kicker to kick it or our field goal kicker to kick it? Win or win. Whoever, yeah.
Well, so what do? You probably do a 58.
Yeah, if you're the
believe in
Broncos, you
your
definitely
kicker.
don't go into 60s.
You don't do 64.
You don't go into the 60s at all.
58. Because you believe McManus would hit it.
Yeah.
Although Dwayne Stukes today said Brandon, essentially what he said, Brandon has to earn back that trust that he can be sent out there for another 60-yarder.
Never again. Just go for it. I don't even care what the down and distance is. Or like throw a Hail Mary. So yeah, I think that's a good one. Or you go back and forth. Like start at 50, both guys have to make it. You start at 6, then you go back to 55, both guys got to make it.
Let's do something with quarterbacks. Let's do something with football, not leave it into the hands of the kickers.
Okay, but the problem is the reason you don't do it is because of injury.
Okay, then what about one play?
Because like I would prefer just play on.
What about like college? I would too. What about college football? Not necessarily start at the 25 after you finish in overtime, but what about where college football in that third overtime in college ball, you do 2-point conversions? What
You're
if you
saying
do from the 10 or 5?
Only 2-point conversions?
Yep, a one play.
I like that.
You just go back. Could you imagine a whole game?
What if it was the like what I said before, where you flip a coin, but then it's 5 yards You just got to get 5 yards, and you get to choose. Do you want to be on offense or defense?
Oh my gosh, I hate it. That's like the beginning of overtime rules. But before they changed overtime, where it was just whoever won the coin flip.
But at least you get a chance to I don't know.
What teams aren't choosing offense though?
Fucking baller teams. I don't know.
Like none of them. No.
All right, that's a bad one. We're going back to set the number. That's my new favorite.
Set the number. Okay, set the number. It sounds like a segment on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it sounds like a number on bets, or a segment on bets.
Speaking of set the number on Russell Wilson passing yards this week.
Over
what?
Name a number.
Okay, all right.
Actually,
299.5.
I would take the over. And just like I would take the over for both of the quarterbacks tonight to go over there. I bet 2 of the 3 hits. So it actually, aren't those the numbers for tonight?
It's 299.5 for Mahomes, and then like 280 something or 279.5.
I bet between Russ and those 2 tonight, 2 out of the 3 hit.
I think all 3 hit.
And Russ is actually significantly under over DraftKings Sportsbook, so you can definitely get value there. But it's just like how, unfortunately, Ryan, I'm sorry, but it's just how I felt like last week when CU played Air Force. And someone asked me, like, how many yards they can rush for? And I said, over. Whatever it is, I'm taking the over. If it's set at 500, I'm taking the over. How many did they actually rush for?
Don't know. Couldn't have service on my phone, so I couldn't see the stats.
That's true. But I think Russell Wilson and the way the game ended last week was absolutely heartbreaking for the Broncos, obviously. But Ryan, one thing we've done a good job talking about how dynamic the offense was in the second half of moving the ball, as you said, from the 1 to the 1.
435 rushing yards.
435. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't have hit the 500 over.
No.
So congrats to see you there. But they were so good at moving the ball. And the Texans, Ryan, they gave up over 500 yards of offense to a good offense. Jonathan Taylor's an incredible running back. Typically, though, if you have a fantastic running game, you're not going to rack up 500 yards of offense. You're going to rack up 200 yards on the ground, 200 yards passing, 175 yards passing, just because there's not that much time in the game when you run the ball so well because you run the clock out. No. The Texans gave up over 500 yards to a team with a brand new offense. And now you can say, the Broncos are a brand new offense. But yeah, now the Broncos have a game under their belt. The Broncos moved the ball like crazy for over 400 yards, right around what Air Force ran for, right around 430 yards last week. The Texans, and we'll dive into this more in a second, Texans got really lucky. It was pretty much they got the luck that the Seahawks got last week.
This is a crazy stat. Just how many offensive plays. If I told you that the Colts threw the ball 50 times in the game, you would say, wow, how did they not get Jonathan Taylor involved, right?
Yep.
Well, he carried the ball 31 times.
That's insane.
So they actually had 52 dropbacks and 38 runs.
Oh my gosh.
They ran 90 plays.
Wow. You don't see that in the NFL.
No. You never see 50 pass attempts and 30 rush attempts for 2 players in the same team.
No, absolutely. And so the Texans just never have the ball? What was the time of possession? Do you have that up there?
I can get it quick.
Because, oh my goodness.
Time of possession was actually not that, unbalanced, but 39 minutes for the Colts, 30 minutes for the
Man,
for the
you win that game 9 times out of 10 when it's almost 40-20.
Yeah, the total play count, this is crazy, 90-68. And they tied. Wow. It's not like it was a blowout.
Wow. And the reason for that is just like the Broncos. The Broncos had 2 drives that went down to the 1-yard line, and they did not get points from that. And then they also had a drive that went down to the 3. It was bumped back, and then they had to kick a field goal. The Colts did the exact same thing. They went down to the 2, went for it, didn't get it, didn't come out with any points. They threw an interception on Houston's 20, and then I believe they also went for it on Houston's 40. So they passed up on just as many points nearly as the Broncos did. I mean, these 2 games were so similar, especially I believe the Colts were right around 7-point favorites, even though they were playing on the road. Broncos, 7-point favorites, playing on the road. And one more similarity, both of those teams were the trash teams, according to DNVR Broncos. The 2 trash teams in the NFL, because none of us drafted them.
And they're 1-0-1.
Yeah. Boy, are we idiots.
Maybe. Also, probably could have made a good amount of money on a home dogs round robin parlay last week. Because like the Bears pulled off an upset. Texans would have pushed. Seahawks pulled off an upset.
Now, not to
Giants
seem
pulled off an upset.
not to seem too JV here, but you've mentioned round robin a couple of times on this podcast. So for the people out there, catch us up. What's a round robin?
It is a risky proposition in which you select a number of games, and then the sportsbook will just do the kind of algorithm for you and parlay every possible combination of those games.
Okay.
So you could end up with 50 separate parlays.
Okay.
So what you end up doing is you just bet like $1 on each.
So however many combinations there are, you get to set a price, and it sets that price for all of them.
Right, and so it sets so let's say you did 5 teams. It would have one five-team parlay, a few more 4-team parlays, a bunch of 3-team parlays, a bunch of 2-team parlays, and then if you want, you can add in the singles. And so what happens is if you were to nail 3 out of 5, then you've got like all these different combination parlays that you hit. And I like doing it with all underdogs because, the incremental or exponential increase that you get on your payout. So it's like, there's a lot of upfront risk.
Yeah.
But it's really fun if it starts working.
And also, you get a little bit of leeway then. If one team doesn't hit, but the others do, then you're fine.
Right. If you hit 4 out of 5 on one of those, like, you're way in the money.
Is a number 3 to kind of be in the money if you're doing 5?
Whatever it is, you got to be whatever 1 over 50% is to, like, really.
Okay.
But with, with the underdog parlays, you could probably get away with at least not breaking the bank if you get a couple of them.
Right. Makes sense.
So there you go. There's our betting lesson of the day.
I love it, and I don't even know where we were going from here. But
we were setting the line on Russ passing yards.
Yeah, and I was going to say I'll take the over. And you said you would take the over on all 3 of them. So you like 300 yards passing for Russ again.
I think so. What was so awesome about this offense, and like I just keep watching it because it's so fun to watch. It's really funny. You have to like separate the result from the process because the process was so entertaining.
Yeah.
Like I just don't watch the last play every time I watch the game, and I'm like, wow, this is a great game.
Right.
And there's just so much open space out there for Russ to throw the ball that there's just I see no reason why they would stop throwing it.
No, I completely agree.
And they're gonna run it plenty too. But I actually in our pick'em took the under on Javonte rushing yards just because I think it's just too easy to pass for them.
You know what I love, and I believe it was Justin Outen that was asked this today. The Broncos had a very unbalanced pass to run ratio, despite the game pretty much being in the balance for most of it. And Outen was asked, do you view, and I believe it was DMAC that asked this, he said, do you view short passes the same as runs? And he said, especially when you look at this game, I'm not worried about the run-to-pass ratio because what we want to do is get the ball into our playmakers' hands. And I love that. It's so simple. And he didn't say, like, I'm trying to force the ball down the field every single play because obviously that's not going to work. But Javonte catching the ball 11 times infuriates people when they see that he had 7 runs on the game. And they just look at that and they say, what's he doing? He's only getting 7 rushing attempts. But then you add 11 catches onto that, 18 attempts or touches for Javonte.
That's so many.
Yeah, you'll take that. You can't complain about that. And then also the passing attempts were extremely successful. 11 catches on 12 passing attempts. So you do take that into account. And I love that they're not worried about, let's be balanced in the sense of at the end of the game, these numbers have to be even. So when the media asks us, we don't get roasted for it. No, the game plan was totally fine. What needs to happen is you need to hold on to the damn ball when you're within the 1-yard line.
Absolutely. And really what you look at is like, if I was the offensive coordinator, I would ask a few questions after each game. Did we let Russ cook, to make it simple? Check. The very next one is, did you get Javonte the ball enough? Last week? Check.
Yep.
You could maybe make the case he should touch it 20 times a game. 18, 20, it's really the same.
When you have Melvin 18, even 15, that's probably the line for me. You want him to touch it about 15 times.
Because he's not going to make 11 catches in most games.
No.
Then I would say, did you get Jerry the ball in space?
Yeah.
Did you get Cortland the ball vertically? And the last one would probably be like, did you involve Alberto and KJ Hamler and those other guys in ways that were advantageous to them? The one that you cannot say you did last week was get KJ involved at all.
One target,
which I didn't like. And he was actually it was a couple inches away from maybe being a touchdown on that one target. It was that weird scramble drill. He's kind of going up the sidelines. He catches it. His foot lands out of bounds, but the safety like went for the ball as if he wasn't going to catch it. So if he's 1 yard right, safety misses him and he's just walking free into the end zone.
Yep. And that's why you just have to keep targeting KJ, because when he gets a hands in his ball, it's probably going to be a big play.
Yeah, there were so many things that went on. No one had enough time to complain about Jerry Jeudy fake jet sweeps, which were heavily featured.
Yes, they were.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, oh, here it comes. They're going to give it to him as like a, just like a funny thing that they got to say. Nope. Just faked it every time.
Yep, they certainly did. And you kind of were okay with it because he got the big pass. And you're like, okay, at least Jerry got the ball. Because what was so bad about the jet sweeps was Jerry was running left and right. And then he would never even get a pass. And you're just like, oh my God, I feel so bad for this guy.
Yep, just getting his cardio in.
Yeah.
But last week, I mean, I can't really complain about anything on offense other than fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line.
Right.
The further we get away from it, the more I legitimately have no critiques other than just not finishing those drives. And it's so crazy. Russ has talked about it. I'd like to think that Russ saw my tweet because he almost talked about the plays that I tweeted in order about how close they were. Like Melvin reaches, doesn't get it. Eric Tomlinson's toe is 1 inch out of bounds. What was the other one? Alberto gets tackled on the 6-inch line. I was like, he's just reciting what I said. But other than that, I mean, it was beautiful work from Nathaniel Hackett. And like I said, it was too easy for them to pass the ball for me to think they're not going to keep doing it. Like if you're the last year Broncos, passing the ball was like it was a struggle. Every time they dropped back, it was like,
it's like stepping through mud.
Yes, exactly. The other day, everything they did worked. Like, the little quick boots where you just dump it off at the tight end. The screens worked except for the one that the Seahawks are flexing about. They're like, oh yeah, they had a tell on screens. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Broncos averaged 14 yards of play on screens.
Yep. It's just a great individual play, and when you look at it from the angle,
the all 22,
man, if that linebacker doesn't make a great play, blow by the offensive lineman, the Broncos win the game easily.
Yeah,
Javonte's off to the races.
I don't buy the tell BS. What I think is that Javonte just went a little early.
And that's what he did too. He went a little too far past the lineman.
Yep. And he actually had another screen that could have been huge where it was definitely designed for him to go outside the blockers, and he just made a quick decision I'm going to go inside. Yeah. And I don't know who the defender was, but he just immediately, I think it might have been Jordan Brooks, immediately spins off there's 3 linemen here. He's coming this way. Javonte cuts in, and he just spins off and makes a tackle, and it's like, Javonte, all those offensive linemen were expecting you to pull that defender towards them by going outside. So a couple little mistakes here and there, but again, I've said it a bunch this week, but Nathaniel Hackett was just boom, 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 boom. Every button he pressed was working. And I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but 70% completions. That's easy work throwing the ball.
Yeah, that's very easy work throwing the ball. And Ryan, we talked about what the Broncos have to do, the keys to beating the Texans yesterday. Let's dive into really quick just a few matchups that the Broncos are going to have. Let Russ cook. We talked about that. We think it's going to be easy. I don't really even think it's going to be let Russ cook. I think it's just going to be watch Russ cook, especially at home. Nathaniel Hackett's going to want to get the crowd fired up with some big plays. But don't let Brandon cook. Don't let Brandon cook. He's someone that can do that, as we talked about him yesterday.
Low-key nasty.
Yeah, but I think low-key is a big thing there. I think there's a reason he's low-key. DK, way more dangerous of a receiver in my mind than Brandon Cooks, and that's just why I'm not too worried about it. But don't forget about him and just let him run by you.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I'm curious to see if the Broncos are just saying, Pat, we're giving you the number 1 receiver every week. That's what I would love for them to do.
Me too.
I worry a little bit about the stubbornness of just being Ronald Darby should be able to handle Brandon Cooks. And the truth is, you're right. He should be able to.
Yeah.
Don't take that chance. Just take away the number 1 receiver every single week.
And I got to give props to the Broncos because I did not think they were going to let Pat follow DK around the field. So I apologize. And I loved it. I love that they let him do that. But Ryan, I completely agree. Brandon Cooks is their number 1 receiver. And if it's kind of split, okay, then just let Pat stay on his side and you guys can do it like that. But no, just stop Brandon Cooks. Because Davis
especially
Mills,
without the safety,
right?
Without the Justin Simmons safety net.
Exactly, 100%. And then you don't have to worry about it because Pat's gonna shut him down. Someone else that, tell me if you're worried about him, O.J. Howard, a guy who was cut a month ago, maybe even less than a month ago.
2 tutties.
Picked up 2 touchdowns. You're worried about him?
Yes. I mean, how many times do we have to talk about tight ends in the Broncos?
Yeah.
And it really wasn't it kind of was. The Will Dissly touchdown, that's not like a Broncos struggle covering tight ends touchdown. It's like a Broncos were really excited to hit Geno and they saw him running and he fooled them for it.
Yeah.
But Colby Parkinson, slot fade touchdown, that can't happen. Or I guess it was like seam fade. I don't know what you want to call it. But just right over the top, wide open, right over Jonas Griffith's head. That scares me because O.J. Howard is about 15 times more athletic than Colby Parkinson.
And I'm not worried about O.J. Howard himself. Like I said, he was just cut by the Bills a couple of weeks ago. He only had 2 catches last week, but he capitalized on them.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'm not afraid of him, but I'm afraid of the situation is because just what you said, 2 touchdowns to tight ends last week on the Broncos. And like you said, O.J. Howard's a better athlete. And another thing that concerns me, Kareem Jackson yesterday asked what was the difference between the first half and the second half. And he didn't point to amazing halftime adjustments. He said the communication was just better. And without Justin Simmons, there's just no way the communication can be as good.
Nope.
Now, Kareem Jackson said it's going to be fine with Caden Stearns, but now that's back-to-back years where there's been communication issues in the secondary that have cost the Broncos some games or cost the Broncos defense looking good. With Caden Stearns coming, I imagine Justin Simmons is the best communicator among that group.
Yes.
So that scares me, especially when you're talking about Josie Jewell likely not playing again this week.
That means you're
Alex
down to your
Singleton playing.
You're down to your 3rd string green daughter.
Yeah.
Because you moved it from Josie to Justin. Justin's out. Now you're going to move it from Justin to potentially Alex Singleton if Josie doesn't play.
Yep.
And that shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is. You talk about if communication was an issue, taking out the guy who's in charge of communicating is scary.
Yeah, so that scares me a little bit. So just don't drink the OJ. Just calm O.J. Howard down. And the final one, Ryan, the running back situation, Dameon Pierce was getting so much love before the season. And then Rex Burkhead is like their dude last week. The coaches didn't even put Dameon Pierce out there to have an incredible game. So a lot of fantasy people were super mad at that. And what it came down to was the coaches after the game said, yeah, we don't trust Dameon as in the pass game yet, which happens to a lot of young running backs. So,
well, okay, let's look at this, though. Rex Burkhead, 14 carries for 40 yards, 2.9 yards per carry.
Bad.
Dameon Pierce, 11 carries for 33 yards, 3.0 yards per carry.
Okay, so, I mean, it was kind of balanced.
He was out there for sure. It's not like they would just, they hyped him up and then didn't put him out there.
But I'm not worried about this Texans running game. Like I was buying a little bit of the Dameon Pierce hype because I'm like, what am I not seeing here? And then you see Davis Mills as well. And again, Davis Mills is a 4th-round Trevor Siemian. You should be able to beat him. But if you mess up, he will beat you. And so that's why I'm like, maybe the running game will dominate. The running game's not going to dominate, Ryan. And I'm curious if you're on the same page with me on if the Broncos are going to cover the 10-point spread, and I want to get your picks right now. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at SportsFan. You guys know where we hold the DNVR tailgates. It's in SportsFan's parking lot.
Sure is.
So what you need to do, get there a little bit early to the tailgate, or when you're just at the tailgate for 3 hours, stop by SportsFan, check it out. I mean, we have so much stuff around this office. I'm looking at one of the things right now.
Yep.
We've had so much stuff on this set, and every time, Ryan, we have something from SportsFan on our set, people are in our comment section on YouTube saying, where's that from? Where are those shorts from? Those are so cool.
Yep. It's
at SportsFan. And SportsFan, it's not just, you're not just going to find your classic Rockies baseball jersey, your classic Broncos jersey. No. You're going to find really cool things where people are going to be like, where'd you get that from? That is so cool. Awesome vintage stuff.
And if you're just like, oh, I'm going to the game, I really want to get a PS2 jersey, they have that too.
Right.
It's everything you kind of want. And the best part about it is it's right next to our tailgate.
Yep.
Second best part about it is you don't have to wait to go into the game,
Right.
Like a lot of times you're like, oh, I'm going to my first Broncos game from out of town. Like I want to buy a jersey when I get there. Well, just buy it from Sports Fan.
Yep.
Then you have it when you walk in the gates. You don't have to worry about once you get in the game. I don't know about you guys. I don't like leaving my seat once I get in there, especially at football.
No.
Football games, there's no time.
No.
It's hardly even time to go take a pee.
Even at halftime.
Yes.
Halftime's
12 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. What's that about?
And the line's crazy.
Yep.
So go to Sports Fan, get your stuff there. And again, come to that tailgate. We are down to probably less now, but earlier today we're down to 20 more tickets on the bus. And the bus is really the best deal of everything because you park over here in the morning, you take the bus over to the tailgate. The bus takes you back here after the game. You can hang out, get some food, watch Sunday Night Football, all that good stuff. And the best part is, even if you were to buy the package, which is all you can eat, all you can drink, and bus, it's very comparable to probably just what it would cost you to take an Uber from downtown Denver to the stadium and then from the stadium back to your house after the game. That's the most expensive package we have if you're not a member. If you are a member, it's definitely cheaper.
Oh, without a doubt. You've got to come by the tailgate. And this one, it's going to be a blast.
Yes, it is. Tickets selling left and right.
Yeah.
We're all set up. We got a DJ. We got our food truck. We got all of our games set up. It is going to be a party.
It is. And really quick, want to give a shout out to Angelo in our comment section on YouTube. Says, new subscriber, love this show. We appreciate that, Angelo. And we appreciate everyone that's tuning in live, that's tuning in on the podcast side. If you're tuning in on podcast, hit us with a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. Hit us with a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. We can boost those numbers to help grow this community so more people like Angelo are rocking and rolling with us. And also, you got to check out our friends over at Pins and Aces, which is the official golf apparel of DNVR. We absolutely love what they've got going on over at Pins and Aces. They're family-owned golf and apparel business based right here in Colorado. I mean, what's not more to like about that? And if you want to check out what they've got, you go to pinsandaces.com and use code DNVR to get 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com.
Great stuff over there. Really cool. I don't know. There's really boring ways to dress on the golf course. They're fighting against that.
Just like Sports Fan.
Yes, exactly.
You can just do the classic, or you can go to Sports Fan and get some awesome stuff.
Also, you mentioned some of the 5-star reviews. Just want to give a shout out to some of our recent ones. O-Rod15 hit us with one. Barnhouse523 hit us with one. Brown Soul 101 hit us with one. Nueli hit us with one.
Love it.
So appreciate all you guys. We are on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on a 6 5-star streak.
Okay.
Let's get it going.
That's 7th. Get out of here, whoever that was.
It was. They were mad at me for using bad words, which I did on this show, so sorry.
Well, cheers to that. It's Thursday, which is pretty much a Friday for us, so we love it. Cody in the YouTube is going 21-14 Broncos victory. Ryan, we've talked about this game yesterday. We talked about it today. Broncos now back up to a 10-point favorite. People across the country, Vegas has forgot about Monday night. They're saying the Broncos are still the same 10-point favorite that they were entering Monday night. Do the Broncos win? And what's the score? Oh, boy. Wait.
Of course they win.
Okay, I was going to say, that sigh will give me a little concern.
I'm having a really hard time with the score. In fact, in our pick'em, I might contradict myself.
It hasn't posted, so you can go back.
I could go back and change it. An overarching feeling I have in my heart right now is that this Broncos team might just not be a team that blows teams out. And that's kind of like a story of Russ's career. It's like you put him as an underdog, he wins. You put him as a big favorite, it's a close game. And I'm having a hard time shaking that. That being said, I'm just piecing this together. The Texans were lucky to score 20 points against the Colts.
Yep.
And they were lucky to be in that game in the first place, just the same way that the Seahawks were lucky to be in the game against the Broncos.
Yep.
I have to assume both teams are going to regress to the mean a little bit, or progress to the mean if you're the Broncos. And so that is what's going to get me to say this. I'm going to say the Broncos win 30-13.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they definitely cover the spread.
Think
I
about it,
love
though. Like, again, Texans had no business scoring that many points. There's a bunch of, like, weird fumbles and interceptions and all that stuff. And the Broncos had no business not scoring 30 points the other night.
100%. Broncos probably should have scored 31 points, could have been all the way up to 38 points, and it was the exact same thing with the Texans. Last week, the Texans scored 20 points on 299 total yards of offense. In the fourth quarter, they gave up 17 points. So you talk about a team that is just trending down. And then also a killer. If I'm a player in that locker room, I am so confused and upset at Lovie Smith for just punting the game away and saying, we're going for the tie. We're not going for the... What confidence does that give me going into a 10-point game where I'm a 10-point underdog?
If I'm Lovie, I'm telling that team, like, I'm doing this for our potential wild card tiebreaker. If we lose that game, then, that might be what ends up knocking us out. We got half a win. And if this was week 18, maybe it'd be differently, but this is week 1. Let's take our half a win and move on.
And that's what he has to do, but I'm still saying really tough sell there. And like I said, they gave up over 200 more yards of offense than they had typically. You're going to get dominated in those games. Ryan, last year in the Texans' 13 losses, guess how many points they averaged in their 13 losses? Huge sample size.
14.
11 and a half. That's why I'm going the Texans score 13 points.
That's what I had.
The Broncos, they were supposed to score 38 last week. I'm going to say it's not as good, but I'm going to go 34. 34-13. Broncos not only win, Broncos not only cover, Broncos cover the spread times
Twice.
2. They do that, and the Texans are just not a good team.
All right. I'm going to hold you to this.
Uh-oh.
If the Broncos win by 1, how concerned are you?
Very concerned. Very concerned. And I wish Hank was here to, again, try to defend this isn't a must-win game. But, Ryan, this is absolutely a must-win game. The Broncos, or every team that started 0-2 last season, missed the playoffs. And that is with the extra 7th playoff team.
And the year before.
And the year before.
I did that research today when we were doing our
I love
pick'em.
that.
And let me just, one more thing.
Yeah.
Before that, from 1990 to 2019, the last year with only 6 playoff teams, 12% of teams that went 0-2 made it. Since then, when they expanded the playoffs, 0% of them have.
So the counter, and probably what Hank and other people say about this not being a week 1 game or a must-win game, Zach, calm down, you're overreacting, it's only week 2. They say they have Russell Wilson. They're a good team, new coaching staff. It's going to take time to get together. They can go on a streak. Sure, they could go on a streak, but Ryan, this is the Seahawks and the Texans. The Texans at home we're talking about. Are the Broncos then going to beat the Chiefs and you're going to feel great about them against the Raiders, and then the back half of their schedule that's super difficult you're going to feel good about? No, especially if they lose to 2 bad teams. And then the other argument, which you've thrown out here, is Peyton Manning started 2-3 in his first 5 games with the Broncos. Then went on an 11-game winning streak. Broncos were the number 1 seed in the AFC, and boom, made the playoffs, had a bye. Russell Wilson's great. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
But there are different tiers in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure.
And Russell Wilson is not the Peyton Manning same tier. Peyton Manning is in a league of his own with Tom Brady, John Elway,
Joe Montana,
and that's it. I mean,
Maybe
he is the
you can make
elite.
a case for a couple other guys.
Sure, he is the elite of the elite, though. Russell Wilson, Hall of Fame, very good. Maybe he joins that group by the end of his career. He's not there yet. So I do think this team is different with Russ than it was with Peyton, so I'm not buying that.
Fair enough. And I think you're totally right. And I also think that this roster isn't quite they're a little better on defense. Actually, they're significantly better on defense, but they don't have nearly the offensive firepower that I think they had back then. That being said, anything can happen. It's just really rare. It's just really rare.
Right.
And like I wrote it today, I'm like, if anyone can pull off a 12%, like dig you out of your grave, you believe it would be Russell Wilson to do that. My issue, and I'm actually different than you. If they win by 1,
You got the win.
got it.
Yep. Yep.
It's all that matters.
Yep.
And you have more time. You've just bought yourself more time to straighten things out.
It's fair. It's fair. And in terms of like the playoffs, you're right. They got the win. In terms of how I'm feeling the next week, and I can't wait for next week because I think you and I are going to be very opposite sides of what we think of this San Francisco 49ers team, and I'm going to love the debates. But then I'm very nervous. I'm very scared if it's a 1-point win.
Yeah, and that would be my thing too. Is like, okay, they have not shown us that they're anywhere as good as we thought they were. But they were able to scrape by. They didn't go to 0-2. Teams that are 1-1, it doesn't even really change that much. So I don't care. But if they lose, my thing is not about the 12% or the, can they pull a Peyton Manning, any of that. It's just telling me the roster is not as good as we thought it was. And one game anomaly, fumbles on the goal line, that's fine. But if they're to lose to the Texans, we have to assume things like that happen again, right?
Yes.
I don't think that they just go out there and get punched in the mouth and lose. They make crucial mistakes. Coaches, do call the wrong or make the wrong decisions, all that stuff. And now I'm saying, maybe this team just has guys that do that. You know what I mean? Like now I'm questioning, are the guys that we thought were guys really guys? If Javonte and Melvin are fumbling on the goal line or, coughing it up again, and again, that's what I think kind of would have to happen. Then I'm saying like, okay, well, you just have a ball security problem, and that makes you bad.
Yeah.
And, if Nathaniel Hackett can't, manage the clock properly and make decisions at the end of the game, now I'm saying, okay, well, your coach can't manage the clock properly. It's like one game anomaly, 2 games. Now I'm saying there's a massive problem here. But learning in wins is totally fine.
It is.
Going 0-2 against according to this podcast, the 2 worst teams in the NFL. Your ship might as well be sunk.
I mean, it reminds me of when you, me, and Mace, about a month before they traded for Russell Wilson, we had our dream quarterback. And who was it? It was Russell Wilson. And then so we felt even more vindicated when they got him. We're like, see, we're not just being homers here. This was our dream guy. If this happens where they lose to the 2 worst teams, according to us in the NFL, and we said that before the season, oh boy, that would be bad. 2 really quick things on the game updates. Cam Fleming going to start at right tackle, even though Billy Turner was a full participant in practice yesterday, full participant in practice today. What do you make of that?
It's so like in baseball, there's an old adage that's like if you get in the lineup, you're like a utility guy. You get in the lineup and you hit a home run, you get to play tomorrow. And I just think that's what happened with Cam Fleming. Like he went out there, he hit a bomb. He was really good in the run and acceptable in the pass. And I think like Nathaniel Hackett is the type of coach to just be like, I'm not taking that guy off the field. He earned the right to go back out there.
Who's the starter right tackle week 3?
If Cam Fleming repeats his performance, it's him.
But does he?
Yes. I'll say he does.
I'm going to say it's easily going to be Billy Turner.
Right.
I think we've seen the history of Cam Fleming, and I think there's going to be some regression. And there's one more guy that I need to mention on the Texans, Jerry Hughes. Had an incredible game last week. It's hard to comprehend. 2 sacks, an interception, a forced fumble, a pass defense, and 2 quarterback hits. He was a monster. That's a guy, he's an end. That's a guy that the Broncos are going to have to make sure they stop. And he could make it so Billy Turner's the Broncos' right tackle in week 3. The Broncos are really going to have to use Eric Tomlinson, Eric Stalbert, and the running backs to chip. Make sure he does not ruin the game. That's a guy that I'm worried about on defense. Sauce Gardner as well is on the Texans. And then, Ryan, there's one, or do you have something?
Just check this out. So I remember I said I had that feeling that sacks were coming in bunches on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then you just said Jerry Hughes had 2, and I'm like, everyone had 2.
It's true.
So check this out.
How many guys have 2?
Micah Parsons has 2. Quiddy Pay has 2. R. Weaver has 2.
No, you're kidding.
No, I'm from Tennessee. I'm just going to say Ryan Weaver. Devin White has 2. Jeffrey Simmons has 2. Myles Garrett has 2. Bradley Chubb has 2.
gosh.
Von Miller has 2. Jerry Hughes has 2. And then leading the league, is Khalil Mack with 3 and Alex Highsmith with 3.
Wow, you have 12 guys with 2 or more sacks in 1 week.
Crazy. And
That's
then you even
insane.
have a few guys with 1.5. Yeah, I mean, 6 more guys with 1.5.
That is insane. Khalil Mack, I'm excited to talk about that game in just a second. Caden Stearns, as we said yesterday, Caden Stearns is officially going to start for Justin Simmons. We talked about how that could cause some issues specifically with O.J. Howard. And one more thing on Billy Turner. He might dress and be a backup this week. What does that indicate to you?
I think it tells me maybe I was wrong about the hot hand thing, and maybe it's more about we just don't feel like he's fully ready mentally. Physically, he's ready, but we got to get him more, dialed in from a mental perspective. Or it tells you physically he's 90% ready, and so they'd rather have a 90% Billy Turner than a 100% who would come in for Cam Fleming. Oh, I guess Calvin Anderson.
Calvin Anderson, or what it tells me that exactly, but then move to guard. Then an 80% or then a 100% Lute Wattenberg if touch wood something happens to Dalton Reisner or Graham Glasgow.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, they're already kind of thin at that position, which is weird. If Quinn Miners and Billy Turner are both healthy and starters, then you actually feel good about your depth.
Right.
You take away those 2 guys, and now you are at the edge of your depth.
Yep, you are. Okay, so we both like a Broncos win, both like a Broncos cover. Let's go around the AFC.
What did Henry say?
Oh, Henry said, actually, you're gonna for the spread, you're gonna have to tune in to our Broncos pick'em to see who he thinks is gonna win the spread. He did like the Broncos to win straight up, though.
I figured.
No surprise there. So then he doesn't even have to worry about if this is a must win or not. But let's go around the rest of the AFC West. We've all got the Broncos winning.
I was really confused because I saw this graphic pop up and I thought that the picks were already in, and I was like, when did I submit my picks for this?
I already know who you're gonna pick, Ryan. You're gonna pick the Chiefs tonight. Actually, no. Let's start with the other game because I think the game tonight's the juicy one. Cardinals and Raiders. Henry, let me see what he has. And when I'm pulling up what Henry has, Ryan, I know you've got the cards in this, right?
I do have the cards in this.
Just straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
5.5 point dogs.
I know. I love that line, and I'm definitely going to hit that money line. Hopefully, I'll use my early win token on DNV or on DraftKings. Because then if at any point they get up 10, it's an automatic win.
Yep.
But I just feel like we're getting a Cardinals overreaction, and it's very possible that they're not as good as, they were maybe expected to be. But I think the same thing is true of the Raiders. And so I expect the Cardinals to get back on track. The Raiders secondary is a joke. And what should I say? The score doesn't look as bad against the Chargers as it looked. Just open guys everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that, Cliff, if there's anything that he should be able to do, it's expose a mediocre at best secondary, and I think they get it done.
Yeah, and I totally see where you're coming from. I agree that people they just played the Chiefs, who looked out of this world, unfortunately, and they got destroyed by potentially the best team in football.
Also, what I said to Dre is not like Arizona full of blue-haired snowbirds. And there's nothing those people like more than a trip up to Vegas. I was like, that stadium's going to look like a Rolling Stones reunion tour.
Wow. It's a great point. Not too far either.
Hawaiian shirt, like Tommy Bahama.
It's very true. However, so I don't like the 5.5. I really don't. That's way too many points from a betting perspective. I like the Raiders, though, to pull this one out. And it's one really that they're going to have to because, like you said, one team is going to lose tonight. The other team's going to win. Raiders quickly in an 0-2, 2 games behind the rest of the leader of the AFC West.
Yep.
That's a tough place to be for Josh McDaniels. And we know when Josh McDaniels gets put in weird situations, boy, things go haywire. So I do think at home they win this game. Henry's also got the Raiders winning. And then tonight, Ryan, Thursday night. I mean, Amazon Prime has been blowing this thing up like no other, but it's worth the hype. The Chiefs hosting the Chargers in what is going to be an awesome game. I'm so pumped for this. and I'll just make your pick for you. You've got the Chiefs winning this one.
I do have the Chiefs winning this one. But I am taking Chargers money line. Why? Because of the promotion at DraftKings Sportsbook. I mentioned the 10-point. Well, tonight we have the 7-point.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are plus 160 on the money line last I checked. So all you need is the Chargers to go up by 7 at any point in the game, and you're going to hit that bet.
Yep.
So I think what I'm going to do is hit Chargers money line, hope they get up 7 and if they do at any point, I'm taking those winnings and reinvesting it on the Chiefs.
I love that. I love that plan so much. And that's why I hope, and Ryan, I was thinking about doing this plan that you're talking about, but now I'm sold on it. If you are willing to put money on the Chargers, even if it's because you don't think they're going to win, but they're going to get at least a 7-point win, then I'm all for it. But Ryan, the Chiefs, after what I saw last week, how did none of us pick them to win the division? It's just, it's crazy.
I think people are overreacting to that.
And I don't think so.
It was just so easy. I want to see what happens when it gets hard.
It's fair. It's fair. Wait, so are you in this, though? Are you picking the Chiefs?
I am picking the Chiefs.
Okay, you're picking the Chiefs for this. Henry's picking the Chiefs as well. Man, do I get the game? Do I try to steal a game? Because my heart, my eyes... They're not my heart. My eyes.
He's hedging right now.
They're telling me the Chiefs. Big time. But I'm going to go the underdog.
I'm
going to do it even though I don't need to, because our AFC West predictions last week. Ryan, you were 0 for 3. 0 for 3 last week when we picked the game.
I know you guys,
up.
at least both of you had one loss.
We did. And then Henry and I are 2-1.
Okay.
Because we picked the Chargers. You picked the Raiders. And then you picked the Cardinals to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, you're crazy. You had the PHNX. You had the All-Citian. Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't blame you, but that's what was going on. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick the Chargers to win tonight.
Yeah, that'll be it'll guarantee you the lead if that happens.
My question to you is, though, who should Broncos fans want to win tonight? Or does it not
matter?
Tie.
Should want the tie.
I think Broncos fans, man, this is so tough.
You probably cheer for the Chiefs, I think. You don't want the Chargers to think that they're on that level.
Yeah.
You want them questioning themselves because they already have self-image issues as just being the Chargers. And you don't want them fixing those.
Yeah, it's really true. You kind of just want one top dog that you have to take down.
Exactly.
Not that the Chargers are top dog if they win, but for this year they would be viewing themselves like that. Exactly. Man, you're probably right. But then I just see how good the Chiefs were last week, and I'm like, if the Chargers can show that's a bit of a fluke, obviously it's not going to be a crazy fluke because they're still the Chiefs, but if they can hold them to 24 points and they win 27-24 and Justin or Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw 5 touchdowns, he throws 2-1, then you're like, okay, it's not as bad. Losing Tyreek Hill did hurt them. It's not just this spin game from Patrick Mahomes saying that it's gonna be an addition by subtraction because now he can throw to whoever he wants.
Yeah. I think there's something that needs to be very well thought about when it comes to the total in this game.
Okay, 54.
54. Zach, this is the first game with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. And a lot of people are going to be sitting at their houses tonight being like, where is Thursday Night Football? What the heck? Amazon Prime. I don't have Amazon Prime. Of course, we have Amazon Prime. And they're going to be saying, do I need to get this game on? And the NFL and Amazon have a deep interest in this being a shootout. Oh my God, hashtag this game. This is insane. Touchdown after touchdown, crazy play after crazy play. And so I think we might see a 38-35, maybe even a 40-38 type game because this is the game that hooks everyone on, I have to get Amazon Prime. I can't be missing these matchups the rest of the season.
It was extremely intentional that this game was the first Thursday night game. Yes.
They're not going to let this be a stinker.
No.
A lot of defensive holdings.
Oh, so you think
keep
this
the
is coming
drives
from
alive.
the league?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not coming from the league. It's just, they should, it's, I used to have a police friend who said, like, there's no quotas on how many tickets we have to give out. It's just one of those things that it's just like, hey, so-and-so like, wrote out a lot more citations than you. And, like, again, I'm not saying that that's what he said to me. It's just like, you just feel it. It's the refs just feel it. Like, hey, big game tonight, man. Amazon Prime. Wow. Big. This is big for the league. Can't wait to see what happens out there.
So maybe you're actually buying the balls. The prime balls.
The prime balls.
I gotta say, I was a little thrown off by it at first. I never tweeted anything. I didn't actually get that, but thrown off by it. But that Russell Wilson, it's because he was one of the main guys promoting it.
If you watch it a second time, though, he hits that tackling dummy and it flies like 60 feet.
Yeah, it does. It goes like crazy.
Really good editing, though.
Yeah, it was. And we even have Emilio saying, "Wait, it's only on Amazon Prime."
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
No, that's what I've been saying for months. I'm like, people don't realize that Thursday Night Football is no longer on television.
Yep.
And there's going to be a massive collective freak out at night tonight when, just like Joe from Aurora gets home from working at the bank, goes to turn on Thursday Night Football, and it's not there.
Yep. And so this past week, I had to go set it up on my TV and make sure I had the app and everything because I didn't want to miss this game.
It's weird. Like, and it's not, it used to be like, oh, you can watch it on Amazon Prime or, whatever channel had it that night. No,
Right.
you can only watch this game on Amazon Prime. It is very weird.
Yep.
And it's honestly genius because I think I speak for most people. It's not like I'm in some crazy tax bracket where I can just throw around, but like I'm not missing Thursday Night Football. Like I have no choice but to get Amazon Prime. It worked. They got me.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Now, if this was not in the AFC West, but just as enticing of a game, I'd be doing the same thing. But for us, it's even more juiced.
Well, and that's why the first one is so important.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be a few people out there who are like, I'm not falling for this trick. No. And there's also going to be a few people who just illegally stream it. But there's going to be plenty of people out there who are like, I don't think so. I'm not buying it. And they're just going to open Twitter and be like, oh my God, how am I missing this game?
It's only here.
Yep.
Exactly. And
okay,
so
last thing I want to say about this. What is playing at Arrowhead in September? The Broncos literally never get to do that.
Oh my gosh. Seriously.
Who did they offend that they never get to go to Arrowhead? I actually just looked this up, Zach. Listen to the months of the Broncos going at Kansas City.
By the way, I think I can guess the last time they were in
Arrowhead
in September 2015.
That is correct.
Yeah, it's the last time Broncos won.
Yes. So there you go. It was 9/17/2015. That's the last time. And since then, the Broncos haven't even played the Chiefs in September. Period. Home or away. It's November, December, November, October. Like,
wow. Is that honestly, though, a little tip of the cap from the NFL to the Broncos saying, you guys, we trust you to put on a good game going against the Chiefs? Because wouldn't they want to put the best games with the Chiefs at the end of the season?
I think it's like a nostalgia thing where they look at the game and they're like, oh, Broncos, Chiefs at Arrowhead. It's like snowy and windy. Like, that's football.
Yeah, and it sucks, though.
It's terrible. I would trade the Chargers for this game all day long.
The fact that the Broncos have their first game against the Chiefs this year is week 14.
Yeah.
That's brutal to end with them. Two of your final, 5 games being against the Chiefs?
Yep. Just once in a while, throw us a September at Arrowhead. Like,
yes.
Not once in 7 years?
That's wild.
That's not right.
No. Because give the Broncos the Chiefs in September, and history's telling us that they're going to win.
Yes, exactly. That's not the problem that the Broncos can't beat the Chiefs. It's the schedule maker's fault.
Exactly. Yes, we figured it out.
We did.
Has nothing to do with quarterback. And I also think, Ryan, we figured it out. Moneyline on DraftKings, Chargers tonight. And then I love what you said.
Yep.
Once they go up 7 points, they get the opening kickoff, drive down the field. You don't want to see Justin Herbert score outside of this. He gets the touchdown. You go up 7. They cash out right away because that's what happened last week. They give you your money right away.
Yep.
Then you take that. It's probably going to be an even spread then because the Broncos were 7-point favorites. And when the Seahawks went and got a touchdown, it went to an even spread. So it's going to be even. You take those winnings, put it on the Chiefs plus 100. Boom. There you go. You can do that at DraftKings Sportsbook. Yep. And that's what's so cool about these Thursday night games. Instead of the 10-point win, which is still really cool, they knock it down to 7.
Yep.
All you have to do is get a 7-point lead on any money line bet, or I guess on the 2 money line bets tonight, and your bet pays out up to $250. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up. That's promo code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And also, if you place a money line bet, you're going to get a $5 money line bet. You're going to get $200 in free bets at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's going to be paid out in $8 $25 free bets. Restrictions apply. See terms and draft at DraftKings.com/sportsbook or in our show notes.
Zach, the pronunciation of jalapeno became actually more notable
Spicy?
today. Because did you see what the NFL did to their logo for Hispanic Heritage Month?
Oh, is that why? All I saw was kind of
bad.
spoofs going on, and I didn't understand why.
Yeah, so the NFL announced Hispanic Heritage Month or whatever they're calling it, and they tweeted out por la cultura, and they put just an NFL logo with dead ass. Just the notes, if you just went on to mark up from your own phone on your Twitter and then took the yellow highlighter and then put the Enye symbol over the end, that's what they did. They apparently paid a professional to do that to their logo. And I'm telling you, it looks no different than if you use the highlighter function on your phone.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It
that-
literally looks like for that to go through and to go on social is just you don't have a Latino in the room to stop that.
That is, that's for sure.
It's a failure on so many people.
It's so bad.
Enye is in the news today, and that is what the N is in jalapeno.
Oh, wow.
Why it's not jalapeno.
Are you telling us about the jalapeno sliders?
And I am telling you about that of Mile High City Sliders. They'll be at the tailgate this week. There's a couple different packages you can sign up for at our tailgate, but all of your tailgates include your food from Mile High City Sliders. And like I said, it is the absolute best tailgate food, best food truck food. You get your little boat. It's got your sliders in there. You crush them real quick. Then you get your shoestring fries from them. Crush them real quick. No worry about any mess. No worry about you're putting together a sick fit for the Broncos game. You're not worried about getting it all over yourself or getting your hands dirty with wings. As much as I love wings, it's just perfect for standing at the tailgate. Got a beer, all that good stuff. So come by the tailgate. And if you want to book Mile High City Sliders for your event, which you can do, make sure you call our buddy Dominic at 720-375-3464. That's Dominic with Mile High City Sliders.
Let's hop into the comment section, see what the people are feeling today. I think there's a lot more positive vibes as people understand that it's the Texans. It's a 10-point game. Broncos get on the winning ways. And Ryan, the closer we get to this game, the better of a feeling I have that it's just going to be a blowout, that Nathaniel Hackett is going to make this such a fun game for Broncos fans to be at, and this is going to be the welcoming into the Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson era that we were honestly supposed to have last week.
I love that take, and I really hope it's true.
Man, maybe it's just me wanting that, knowing we need it.
Yeah, it should have been easy last week. The 7-0 deficit always makes things a little wonky and a little weird, and that's
Ask Vance Joseph.
Yeah, it actually is a really quick way to just throw off a game. When I talk about the Buffs this weekend, I'm if they go up 7-0, I might have a little string of hope, just because you go up 7-0, then they make one more mistake, all of a sudden it can be 14-0. Things change quickly. But I kind of hope if the Broncos win the toss, they take the ball. Go down, score, tell everyone our red zone woes, that's all taken care of, and just get to work.
Well, the Broncos won the toss last week and they deferred, so maybe they'll learn from that.
Yeah, it is pretty well agreed upon that that's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. With that being said, teams that won the toss last year, Zach, 131, 140, and 1.
Huh.
So, and most teams are taking the ball in the second half.
Yep.
Just an interesting
That
little
is
fact
interesting.
for you.
Interesting. And we have some interesting comments. First one coming in from The Count. He says, after a long hibernation, I'm jonesing for some flickering candlelight, a baker's dozen of RK specials, and a pleasure horse intro song. Also turns out the guy living in my crib illegally is from Montana and apparently is some sort of fanboy of your CU Buffs writer. I myself have a myriad ideological problems with the Buffs organization, so I don't know why this chap would seek out my abode, which to squat. Well, he's in custody now, so we'll all sleep easy. Also, I need some Larry Den Jr. takes about obscure pundit Bronco takes. Stat, love the count.
Where is LDJ? We miss LDJ. From Melbourne Bronco. My boys, I'm not. Oh, geez, we're both.
Yeah, these are tough.
In my not-so-illustrious Aussie rules career, I suffered 2 separate quad injuries. A torn quad means surgery and season done. So Justin Simmons will be back in 4, depending on the quad strain severity. You can play out a game with a slight strain, which he did, so it sounds like the lower scale injury. Ice and compression, no running for 2 weeks, and he will be fine and hopefully back for the Chargers. And copied from yesterday, I listened to the game on the KOA radio app. What are the chances DNVR calls games in the future? Cheers. Actually, a really good time to bring this up.
Oh.
This Sunday,
Oh.
I will be hosting a watch-along for the Denver Broncos game. So it's not calling the game, but it's essentially like if you were with me at the bar sitting at my table.
Yep.
And I'll be on there. I think Dre will be on there. We'll have a couple other fun guests, whoever's in the bar. Come join us.
I'll be producing.
Allie will be producing.
Love it.
So you'll get to actually see what it's like to watch a game with me. And I have no idea if people like that. Like, Zach, you haven't really done it since we used to sit next to each other in the press box.
Yeah.
How would you rate watching a game with me?
Well, here's what I'll say. I'm not a person you want to watch a game with because I just try to get so locked in. And I've kind of been like that my whole life. I don't really like, and that's why doing this job was not a hard transition for me. I would never drink and be in a big social gathering during Broncos games. I hated that. I just want to be focused, locked in on the game. And so that's what I'm still like. So I'm not the person to be watching a game with, trying to have fun. But Ryan, you are the go-to guy. You would be the guy. And are the guy since I've done it with you before, but especially in a non-press box environment, you're the guy. I mean, you're the life of the bar during the game. So absolutely, I'm tuning in.
I'm excited to do it. It should be fun. I sometimes get on my Tony Romo where I'm trying to predict all the plays.
Yeah.
We'll see if
Sometimes
that happens.
successful.
Yeah, it's a lot easier from the press box where you
Right.
can see the formation and what defense they're looking at.
So Tony Romo's just not as brilliant as everyone thinks. He does have an upper hand.
He's a great upper hand.
Yes.
It actually is insane to me that you can't watch an NFL game from the all-22 angle.
That is crazy.
Like, we got to figure that out.
With how many, like, I know there's a lot of casual sports fans that do want those sort of angles, but there's also so many football junkies.
Yes.
I mean, it's not 1% of people. There's a huge audience for that. And speaking of that, isn't Amazon Prime, I could be wrong, but aren't they doing like multiple different camera angles and you get to like choose your viewing tonight?
I think so. Yeah, they
that's
also
smart.
have like they're actually calling it the tailgate, which is funny. And it's like a pregame show.
Oh my gosh.
But it's hosted by Josh Richards, the TikToker. And then he's just joined by other TikTok stars. And I'm just
isn't
like,
it very random?
yes.
People?
And I was like, man, I actually almost tweeted my thoughts, which were, I want to dunk on this so hard, but there has to be someone somewhere who wants this.
Yep.
And good for them. Like,
Yep.
I don't want to hate
Yep.
on the thing that
Right.
but I'm like, what football fan wants to see this?
No.
There's literally like an otter that was on the lineup of people who are going to be on the
Like not a person?
like a famous TikTok otter.
Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Did we trademark the tailgate?
I don't think you can.
We're not suing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should. Maybe
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah, or they should just hand us the rights for the tailgate.
It would be better than whatever the hell they're putting
We'd have
on
football
tonight.
people talking. Yeah, we'd have an angry football person on too. I can guarantee you that.
But there you go. You can tune in with us on YouTube on Sunday, and I think the best way to do is like have your laptop or your tablet on us with your TV on the game.
Yep, I love it. Next one coming in from Pig Tosser 66. Fellas, it's been a while since I've commented, but I haven't gone anywhere. Been listening every day, and you guys have been crushing this stuff per usual. A very late congrats to Hank, but well deserved, man. I've enjoyed listening to you and keeping that energy. Keep it up, dude. Not too pissed about the opener. That was Seattle's Super Bowl, and I have to give their fans props because that place was amped up from the start, and they never let up. I liked how the defense responded in the second half, and I'm writing off the first first half of their preseason game. The offense moved the ball at will and really could have / should have put up another couple scores. We are going to be okay. I'm flying back to Cali tomorrow from a few days at the Ocean Course at Kiowa Island, and then jumping back on a plane Saturday as my son and I will be taking in Russ's first game in Denver
What a
in
weekend.
person. Couldn't miss it. I will be seeing you guys soon. Buying the tailgate today. Do the member deals automatically show up if you access from the website? See you fellas in a few.
Yeah, so essentially if you go through our website, there is a tab on the website that says tailgate. I went through this process today to make sure I wasn't telling anyone the wrong thing. Tab on the website that says tailgate. You click that, and then it's very clear. It just says week 2 against the Texans, week 3 against the 49ers, and so on and so forth. Just click that banner. It'll take you to the member pricing page, so you don't have to put in any code or anything like that. Essentially, we just created a private page that only you guys can see if you're a member.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And we can't wait to see a Pig Tosser 66, just like we did. Was it last year that we saw you out here? Yeah, I can't wait. Next one coming in from Let Russ Cook. Howdy, gents. Still baffled how Javonte got outrushed almost 2-1 at 6 yards per clip. Unleash the beast. Also, Cowboys are also hated here in Texas. Houston is an Astros city, but there are a lot of Texans fans. They're just fair weather fans.
That means they're not fans.
Thanks for the pod as always. P.S. Hank will be enjoying his pizza when he calls for it.
There you go. We talked about this a little bit. The key is to get Javonte with a head of steam. However you can do it. The one right before the play where Albert O caught it on the goal line.
Yeah.
The play where Javonte catches the swing pass in the flat, gets the first down, and then just explodes Jordan Brooks. Like, if that was a video game, Jordan Brooks would have just turned into mist. Like, he lowered his shoulder and he just went flying.
And there were pieces of equipment that were flying, mouth guards.
It's unbelievable. Like, when he gets to full speed, it's just impossible to stop him on first contact.
It is.
So honestly, the swing passes and the screens are a great way of doing it. All you want is him getting to full speed before anyone touches him. And yes, that is good runs. That's sweeps. They did a good job, doing that. But I love, like, if he gets 10 catches a game in that same way, I'll love it, because almost all of them were effective.
Let him pick up speed, and oh my goodness.
Look at the play right before the field goal. He catches the ball on 3rd and 13, and he catches it. It probably makes it 3rd and 15. And then he goes and gets 11 yards from there just because he threw a guy's face into the ground.
Yep. Man, if only Javonte wasn't as good.
I know.
The game might have been different. It's really crazy. According to them, it was the 46-yard line. If he gets to the 47, they go for it and they get it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
now, there are some other things
6.
that have to happen, but still a higher % chance.
Nash Broncos says, hi, boys. 3 quick observations from the game. 1, PS2 might be the best corner in the league. 2, Javonte with 11 freaking catches on 12 targets. You love to see it. 3, Hackett will get an early chance to answer the biggest question we have about him. What happens when things don't go well? That was our first big question of him.
Yep.
It was a good first step to own up to the mistake, onto the Texans, and truly welcoming in Russ as a Bronco. I have a feeling he's going to go off.
I completely agree, and I also think that Nathaniel Hackett's not going to have to prove game management this week. In fact, we may be waiting a couple of weeks until we have to see that, because if you're blowing a team out, those issues don't arise.
Yeah, I was so impressed by Nathaniel Hackett's demeanor this week, because he's such like an empathetic and passionate person that I really thought he was going to come in on Monday and be like devastated and like kind of just have like a sad puppy thing going. No, he was same old Nathaniel Hackett, cracking jokes and upbeat. And like, I think a couple people took that the wrong way. They like didn't appreciate that he was like so happy-go-lucky after losing that way. I really appreciated it, because it showed me like, dude, this guy is just built different. Like, he's just positive, and you can't take it from him.
He's built Ford tough.
No free advertising.
No, unless they want to give me a Ford.
Yes, well, they have to give all of us Fords.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
But yeah, I was really impressed by that.
Did you get his joke on Tuesday, though?
Yes.
At the end?
I mean, I knew he was joking, and I understood what he's joking about.
I had no idea if it was a joke, I had no idea. And
the criticism that he got for that was
he was I just didn't understand it all.
That's fine, but like, you got other people out there trying to like drag him for it,
which we didn't do. But what was he saying? Did he actually think that he was going to get another timeout?
No, I think he was just like, he didn't really want to answer the question, so he just made a joke.
And which is funny because then he said after the joke that did not hit, at least in the room, he said, I probably shouldn't have done that. We defended him on, at least I think you were right there with me. We defended him on it. There's a 0.1% chance that they fumble the snap, but maybe that's just not a football guy thing to do.
Yeah, I did. There was someone who made the case that like the Seahawks called timeout after the Broncos called timeout to ice, and like maybe he could have like tricked the refs into being like, we didn't call that timeout. The Seahawks called that timeout. But I thought he just didn't like when they were like, what were you doing there at the end? He didn't want to just be like, oh, I was just being desperate. Right. So he just made a joke. He was just like, oh, I was trying to see if they'd give me another timeout.
Man, if he just would have said I was just really desperate, did not want to lose that game.
I mean, like I was desperate too. I was sitting there watching every last snap being like,
yep,
maybe they fumble it.
Yep. And I loved it. I was like, I hope you take a timeout.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I think that wraps it up for us today. This was a really fun show and a great week. Next time you hear from us will be Sunday after the game. You can also tune into the tailgate, or I guess you could tune in to the watch along, which I'm really excited for.
Do that.
So there you go. You can hear from us before then if you so please, or if you so wish. But otherwise, we'll catch you after the game on Sunday. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.